You know what it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
You know who it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Odie, Maurice, Odie, Maurice.
Maurice, Odie, Maurice, Odie.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Odie and Maurice.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Odie.
And I'm Maurice.
And you're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
Yeah, we're back at it again for another week of fun, merriment, mirth, and whimsy with just two black-ass sexy nerds. Just bringing you the news you could use and bringing you, what is this look on your face?
How long is this background noise going to be?
1 minute and 8 seconds. Okay. How about that? Is that okay with you?
You know that I need to understand things that are happening behind me. I'm going to be confused if I'm just hearing noise behind my
This is not noise, I will have you. This
is
music. Super Mario
it's music.
World
I know what it is.
Soundtrack.
But it does distract. So I just wanted to make sure.
How is this distracting?
Because I'm hearing a melody.
It's very low.
In my
We
ear.
can talk.
No, it's fine. But I just was asking how long it is, so that I just have a weirdness. Because you just used this button all willy nilly. You didn't prepare me for it.
It's not even a button.
Whatever it is, it's new, it's change, and you know how change is not my forte.
Well.
Okay.
You should open yourself up because
I
sometimes
am.
change is.
I try.
Change can be good.
I try that, but I would like all positive change always.
Okay.
But I just need to know if we're going to be doing different things.
Fair enough.
So that I can make sure that
I just figured I switch it up. I always play hip hop as like the betting music, and I just figured I'd switch it up now.
No, this is fine.
Try something different.
So, but we know we're just going to say the same. Is our questions. I'm going to go first this week.
Yes, we do a little bit of Q&A where we ask each other, questions to get to know the host a little bit better.
Asking all them questions.
Asking all the questions.
Asking all them questions, making statements. Assuming? All right. What's your favorite sleeping position?
On my back.
Looking like a mummy.
Yes. Because I feel like I do like sleeping on my stomach from time to time. The problem is I often fall asleep on my couch. Mm-hmm. And because I fall asleep on my couch, like I can't just sleep like stomach down because then my arms will be falling off the bed. I don't like the feeling of falling off anything. So I will just sleep on, at least if I know that I'm on my back, I can have my Wakanda Forever pose on my chest, like I'm buried in a casket of some kind. Yeah. How about you? How do you like to sleep?
My favorite would be on my stomach.
On your stomach.
Yeah. With like, well, this is
limbs flailing all about.
One of my arms underneath my face, the pillow over my head, and then I just feel like, and also the comforter. If it's like winter and I have a comforter on, I want that over my head as well. And then so I'm just on my stomach laying that way.
Yeah, just sawing logs, snoring up a storm to the point where anybody can hear you from the other room and just like, all right, still sleep, cool.
Yes, that is exactly my favorite way to sleep. Okay, what's your question?
All right. This is actually one of my favorite songs. I'm going to amend this a little bit.
Okay.
Because the question is, what's your favorite TV show? But the problem in the realm that we currently live in with streaming, I'm constantly watching new and old shows at the same time. Like, I just got finished watching all of Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
And I'm currently watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend with you.
Uh-huh.
And also at the same time, there's new Better Call Saul. They just had a new season of Grownish that just came out. You should call it Grownish because I groan every time I watch some of these plot lines. Shout out to Yara Shahidi. She's fantastic. But why are you in this new season? You graduated. Like, go and be in New York. Anyhow, spoilers. But so what I will amend this to, I will ask you, if you were trapped on a desert island and you can only watch one series, what would it be?
That is a terrible change.
Yeah, no,
That's not even comparable to what the question is.
It is
asking.
comparable.
You could have been like, well, what are 3 favorite shows you have now?
No. This is better. You know why? Because if you are stuck with only one series to watch, you have to really make it a good series. Like, as in, like, you could watch it over and over again, and that's the only show that you can watch. I'll give you an answer. Adventure Time. 1, because there are like 100 plus episodes. They are 11 minutes long, and they vary from episode to episode. Like, the genre can be different. Sometimes it's fantasy. Sometimes it's sci-fi. Sometimes it's existentialism. Sometimes it's nihilism. Sometimes it's just completely wacky, random shit. Like, we often watch episodes of Adventure Time together. Yeah. And, like, I am like, oh, this is a dark episode where Marceline's dad comes back, and she never forgave him for eating her fries. And she's like, Daddy, why don't you love me? Or it could be an episode of just like, oh, there's a Goblin King and he likes to spank asses, like. But the goblins are so terrified and have PTSD that they won't let Finn be an active king, so he has to be a silent king and follow the rules and stuff. And if he disobeys the rules, they automatically think that he's gonna hit them. Like, it's wild and crazy. And then later he comes back and he doesn't have any eyeballs and stuff, and he is like a peaceful. He is a side character, mind you, the Goblin King. Like, there are so many intricate, complex characters on this children's show, and it's fun to explore all of them. Also, one of the first LGBT plus representations that actually shows them kissing on the fucking cartoon show. So, sorry, Steven Universe. Adventure Time beat you to the punch.
So, I love Adventure Time. The thing that would be for me is that the episodes are so short. So, I would be able to get through it too quickly.
It has like 7 or 9 seasons.
It does, but I just feel like the episodes are like, they just can,
there's like
get
20 episodes per season.
If they were an hour, yes. But then they're just too short for me to be like, yes, it'd be great for the only time. Okay, so let me think. All right.
I've given you so much time to think.
So these, because I
went on a diatribe.
I've parsed down what I feel like
Consider
it could
this
be.
thinking music.
So initially I was like, okay, Law and Order or Stargate or
Wait, which Law and Order? The original or SVU?
SVU.
Wouldn't that bum you out?
That's what I was thinking. So I was like,
rapes. That's so many rapes.
That one's kind of dark, so I don't think I could do that. And then Stargate, I'm like, I do love that one. There's a mixture of like the sci-fi fantasy and then like romance sometimes and action sometimes. So there's like a lot to think about. But then I was thinking about Star Wars and which one out of those, like if I could do like, but then I was like, well, which Star Wars? Would it be Next Generation? Would it be Voyager?
Trek.
What did I say?
You said Star Wars multiple times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Star Trek. It's late. Star Trek. But it's late.
Okay.
And it's not that I think about both of them a lot. Anyway, Star Trek would have a lot of episodes. They're an hour long.
So many episodes.
Ugh. So I think
Star Trek is the Doctor Who of. Actually, no. Star Trek is like Doctor Who.
You know what? Doctor Who would actually be the best series to talk about because since it's just been one continuous show, you would literally have decades of episodes compared to Star Trek, unless you're going to, like, because I'm just thinking about what these rules in this universe that you're creating are going to have, that, like, if it's Doctor Who, I'm going to get all the Doctor Who's from the beginning to the end.
Yeah,
If it's Star Trek,
you're stuck with either Enterprise or Deep Space
Exactly.
Nine or Voyager or the original.
Yeah, I don't want to be stuck. So I think Doctor Who actually would be the best one because I'm going to get literally decades and decades of shows. Plus, there are going to be new ones that are going to come out. So I think that, and then hopefully, if like they throw in a movie in there as well, like when they do those little special episodes.
Oh, if it's a part of the series.
Yeah, like a special
then that's
episodes
fine,
one
but,
where it's
like,
like long.
You're not getting the movies.
All right, well, but at least I think.
All
Doctor
right, so
Who.
then which one? Okay, so Doctor Who.
And I've not watched Doctor Who in its entirety.
Oh my god, I was gonna go back and start watching it again, but it feels like such a daunting
Oh my
task.
goodness, we could do it together because I would love to start from a certain time, and then that way it won't be too much. But I know, like, I could definitely on a desert island, I could bring Doctor Who.
You know how I say I will not watch any long anime with you? Doctor Who is a long anime, basically. There's like so many episodes and so many doctors. Like, fucking, I bet you. All right. So, where did you want to be your jumping point? David Tennant?
I was thinking
Matt Smith?
maybe
Peter
David
Capaldi?
Tennant. Who was the one before
The white
David
woman?
Tennant? No, who was the one before David Tennant?
Christopher Eccleston, I think his name is.
Maybe him, but I feel like
But so that's the first season of the reboot.
yes.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That would be hell.
It's not. We have time. What are we
Because
doing?
then now you got to go back through the Bad Wolf saga,
All right. Well, hey, we'll figure it
which
all
was
out.
cool, but you know, it's Bad Wolf. Jodie Whittaker. That's what I meant to say. Not
Jodie
sorry,
Whittaker?
not blanket statement. White woman. Her name is Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, I know her.
And then Peter Capaldi, Matt Smith, David Tennant. Where's Christopher Eccleston? I think his name is. Well, now I gotta. God, 200 episodes of just the new.
I mean,
Series.
it's that's a great series to have.
Yeah, Christopher
For-
Eccleston. Eccleston. I knew it. Yay! I got it.
Well, you know, Rowan Atkinson was the Doctor Who for a little bit.
Rowan Atkinson?
Mr. Bean.
No, he wasn't.
He was. I'm looking at this IMDb.
Rowan Atkinson was he in Doctor Who? He was not Doctor Who. Rowan Atkinson was
This
not.
is on a list that said actors who have played Doctor Who. It's on IMDb.
Hold
I'll
on.
look it up to confirm, but that's what it's saying here. That's all it says on IMDb. I'm just saying what it's saying.
Rowan Atkinson was never a doctor.
I'm just saying. I'm looking into it now.
I see what you're saying. It's that played by, like, it's that little.
It's a list of Doctor Who's.
First off, Joanne Lumley was never a doctor.
All right,
okay?
so maybe that list is wrong.
Yes, the list. It has to be
I
wrong.
said I had to research it more.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just saying it says this is an
Why don't
IMDb
you-
list.
why don't
Actors
you-
who have played Doctor Who.
Why don't you go down to the next Google item on this search
This was
that says
IMDb.
list of actors who have played the Doctor.
That's
And
what I clicked
William
on.
Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker, who was the more famous of them. He was the fourth Doctor. Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann,
All right, we don't have to
Christopher Eccleston,
just give a whole
David Tennant,
rundown.
Matt Smith,
Of
Peter
them.
Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker,
All right, so anyway, you have my answer.
Cudi Godwa.
This is my next and final question.
He's about to be next. Doctor.
What honorary family members influenced you growing up?
That's a good question, and I like how that song just came on as soon as that question was asked. That influenced me. Honorary family members. Well, You know what? I'm gonna go with Miss Nudie. She was my mom's hairdresser.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
I named my stuffed frog after her.
You did. You gonna tell the people why?
Because I had a crush on her when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would take me to, the hair salon, and I would have to sit there while she got her hair did, and her hair would get done by this lovely hairdresser named Miss Nudie. And I would say, I like Miss Nudie. Why? Because she has body. Now, what you don't know is that a small me would refer to big ass titties as body. So, whenever I say, "Oh, she has body," I would mean, "Oh, because she has big old breasts," and I'm a huge fan of those. And to this very day, still a fan of. I haven't seen Miss Nudie. I don't know where she is or.
You're still a fan of the
big bosoms.
big bosoms.
Yeah.
Lay your
Shut up!
head on my bosom.
That's what I thought the song was about. Lay your head on my pillow.
They're like pillows.
Yeah, they are. They're like hard calcified pillows.
Well, they should.
Well, not calcified. Well,
calcified. Unless someone has like implants, and
Yeah.
you can feel those.
somebody had implants at one point
All right.
in my life.
Well, okay. So
I don't know what to tell you.
for me, I would say that's my Auntie Debbie because she's not. I wouldn't even call her an honorary family member. She's a family member, but she's not blood. She's my godmom. But she and my mom have been best friends since they were like, I don't know, 22, 23. No. Maybe it was like 24 because I think my older sister was already born. Mm-hmm. So then it was later because my mom had my older sister at 26. So they met around that time. But she's been there since before I was born. She's my godmom and the mother to my godbrothers and sister who are like my siblings. And we have grown up together and just like peas in the pod. And
Peas in the pod.
she's my, like, even it's interesting to have family who you are so close to that you don't have any blood with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many things that me and my Auntie Debbie have just like in common and just like in ways we can connect that nobody would ever think that we weren't like aunt and niece, or like even when I was little, like that I might have been her daughter, just like because we were just so.
You wish you had a different mom.
No, what? How do you get that from what I'm saying?
You just said that like
No,
nobody
I'm
could
saying
distinguish from
that
the
we
fact that maybe y'all
are super
might be
close.
daughter.
The same way when baby Keita
Mother.
comes, if I'm with him, I'm gonna be his auntie, but also we're gonna be so close, and no one's gonna be like, oh, that's not person's not related to him. They're gonna just.
You can only dictate 50% of that.
I'm speaking it into existence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
hey, there's no harm in wishing.
this is my baby. That's being birthed by another person. And even when you just look at pictures of me and my Auntie Debbie as a baby, she's just always so excited to see me, and I'm so excited to be with her. Mm-hmm. We just mesh. That is not meaning that I wish I had a different mother. Okay. That's just another person the same way. My Auntie Anjanette, who's my mother's older sister, my Auntie Linda, my mother's middle sister, R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I would see them, I would be so excited because it was just like, these people are another extension of me and of motherhood in my brain. So it's just like, these are people that you pay attention to as you're growing up and love. So, but my Auntie Debbie is a non-blood family member who I looked up to as a kid.
Okay.
And still look up to now.
Okay, that's cool.
All
right. I can fucks with that.
All right. I think those were both our questions, right?
Yes, those were both of our questions.
Okay,
so,
are you ready to get into the pop culture segment?
You're listening to
No, sorry. And I'm not editing that out.
All right, so I have some updates for you.
All right, here we go. Let's dive right in.
I'm going to try to start from the worst update to the best.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I should put some appropriate music on.
Yeah, don't put any music on. Just leave it. Because I don't know what you're going to put on, but I feel like it's going to throw me off in some way. Because right now you're being real fast and loose. Okay? Real John Wayne with these drops. And I don't know.
John Wayne?
I don't know how to think about it. I don't know what to do.
John Wayne.
Yes, John
That's
Wayne.
the reference that you wanted to go with?
Yes, it was.
I'm John Wayne.
You are. It's better than being John Wayne Gracie.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Just
If we had to pick which one. I think I picked the better one out of the two. All right. So, first things first, and this is going to be something that you have expertise in. Vince McMahon, who was the CEO and chairman at WWE, has retired, and this is after several weeks of huge, scandalous allegations that have come forth that weren't actually allegations. Basically, if you haven't been paying attention in the news, Vince McMahon was found out that he had huge payouts to different women in the wrestling world, and just like even that some that weren't necessarily wrestlers, but just like in his orbit for unwanted sexual advances, sexual assault, etc. You have been keeping up with this the most.
Yes, I have.
Because this is your thing.
Yes.
Can you give me your perspective and how you feel about him deciding he's going to retire from the WWE?
Okay, so first and foremost, let me just say, Vince McMahon, in an objective way, he revolutionized wrestling. You know, he comes from a dynasty. He bought up all the territories back when wrestling organizations were like these desperate territory sort of things.
Was that when it was like WCW versus like WWF?
This was even before that. Back when there was like, just when I say the territories, I mean like there was all different promotions running all over the South. He decided that like it would be best to like buy them all up and unify them as one organization, right? He led the sort of creative chart. He's been the head of creative since the fucking 80s. So like you could say that a lot of what made the Attitude Era in the 90s as like exciting and progressive, not progressive. So many things that were not progressive at all, but exciting and revolutionary, I would say, and envelope pushing in the Attitude Era was due to like the creative mind of Vince. So I will give him whatever flowers that are garnered through the hard work that he put into that, right? I will say though, this is also a man who is a man of his time. He's been doing this job, like I said, for years, decades even. And it was time for him to go because of the awfulness that he has done. He's known for being a very peculiar and obstinate old fucking man at this point, right? But you add on top of that the heinous actions that have come to light recently of just like cheating on his wife, paying women with NDA money, like passing off women to John Laurinaitis like they're fucking toys. Potentially like you add all of that to it, and it's like, let's get him the fuck all the way out of here, get some new blood in there, so that we can have like a product that is, like just fresh and new and different. I will also say, let's get some new blood in there just to get a fucking creep away from, like, fucking my wrestling. I don't want to have to think about the awfulness of the world when I'm watching a grown man, like, powerbomb another grown man through a table. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a smart Mark. I read the stuff on the internet, and like I'm very clued into the wrestling world. And like I know those sort of behind the scenes ongoings and everything like that. Like I keep up with that information. I watch it on the daily. When I am watching wrestling, I'm well aware that I'm suspending my belief, my suspension of disbelief. It's escapism. I'm not saying that like I don't want good storytelling, or like I'm not saying that I just watch it because it's just trash TV. It's like, ooh, big man hit big man. Like I'm not doing that. Like I do like the storytelling. I do like the characters. I do like the athleticism that goes into it. What I don't want is to know that these women who are wrestling and putting their bodies on the line are being like, their storylines are being written by some old 77-year-old man who's like some creep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that, either by putting him in sexy outfits and like, oh my God, the Attitude Era was horrible for women's wrestling. First, if you can even call it that. Like there were bra and panty matches and mud wrestling and, like just titties everywhere and everything like that. Like it wasn't good for women, I will say. Like there are, you have your Ivories and your Trish Stratus's who came out of that era, not unscathed, I will say, but like they somehow their legendary status rose above it. But it still didn't help progress the field of wrestling in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that Vince McMahon has retired. I'm happy that Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, has taken over as WWE's creative head, and that Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, Vince McMahon's daughter, has taken over as CEO of the company. Time will tell how they run the company, what creative endeavors they will be doing. Triple H ran NXT for a long time, and that was arguably one of the best wrestling products for a really long time. But yeah, fuck out of here, Vince. Get out of here. And also, apparently, there are more stories on the way. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like apparently this was like allegedly this was a move. That's why he retired on Friday when the stock exchange closed. So that him retiring didn't affect stock prices, you know what I mean? Like it's a move, you know what I mean? Like it's not a move done because he's given everything to this company and he has nothing left to give and he wants to live out his twilight. No, it's a move to be like, you cut off the head to save the rest of the body.
Yeah.
That's not, you cut off the arm to save the face. I forget what the quote is.
Cutting off the nose to spite the face?
Yes. And you're not supposed to do that.
You're not, yes. Because cutting off your nose, you're going to still be disfigured. So it's not really...
Tell that to Voldemort.
He didn't... I mean...
He got a lot done without a nose.
Okay. Yes. Well...
he was very active for several years. He was very active throughout the high school life of a boy who was chosen. What did I say the other night?
The boy
that time forgot. Yeah, that's what I said.
No, it wasn't that time forgot.
Sorry. So little bit of backstory for the listeners. Odie is a Harry Potter file, and I have watched the movies. I haven't read the books or anything like that. It is what it is. I'm enough of I know enough about Harry Potter, but I'm not aware of like all the lore, all the details and intricacies and stuff. And I forgot the name of the prophecy, and I've been calling it the boy that the chosen one bullshit, like the boy that time forgot or whatever it's called. I've just been saying it that way.
The boy who lived.
The boy who lived. There we go. Or yes, the boy who lived.
The boy who lived.
The boy who lived.
It's very simple.
Yes. Never lived too.
The prophecy, like I said.
We don't have time to get into this prophecy.
My God.
We're talking about Vince McMahon.
We're moving on because you're not going to rile me up. All right, fine. We are moving on from Vince McMahon to another person who is problematic AF.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
So he was supposed to be performing in Minneapolis at First Avenue last week. But due to an online petition and people working there, who the petition said Dave Chappelle has a record of being dangerous to trans people, and First Avenue has a duty to protect the community. And it had over 120 signatures early Thursday morning last week. So they canceled the show, and he was moved to Varsity Theater, which was, they said they were going to honor all the First Avenue tickets. Of course, people online were just like, this is refusal of public speech and da-da-da-da. When I say no, like, I think we've talked about this before when it comes to First Amendment. You can say what you want. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have any repercussions because of the words that you're saying. That just mean First Amendment means that by me saying something that's not popular, whether it's a good or a bad opinion, that no one's going to be able to jail me or cause me physical harm because of that. Except for there are a few phrases, like if you call someone the N-word and they fight you, that is not necessarily protected under the First Amendment because of how the incendiary nature. Just like yelling fire in a public place, you will get in trouble by that because you can cause a panic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's more things. Go read it. Look it up. But I don't think that Dave Chappelle losing a concert gig is anything to feel sad or worried about, because he's literally made no effort to change or undo or redact or whatever his behavior. Even remember that last time when the person was trying to jump him on the stage? Yeah. And he makes a joke about, oh, it's a trans person, even though the person was a cis man. Like, you just cannot stop making terrible jokes that are only funny to you and a choice group of people. Yeah.
And not to mention that he literally just opened up for Kevin Hart and Chris Rock's tour.
Yes.
It might have been today or yesterday or something like that. They bought a goat on stage and was like, oh, I get it. Smith the goat.
Yeah. But then also he brought up all that land. Remember we talked about a few months ago how he was disputing with people in his community in Ohio because they were trying to build like multi-income housing. And so he, instead of just letting them build this housing, he went out and purchased the 58-acre land. Yes. So that it is now going to be protected from all the poor and black and brown people they didn't want, which is, crazy. Okay, so moving on. Now this, now I told you this is going to go from terrible to better. Okay?
Progressive.
So, it's progressive. Ricky Martin won his case against his nephew, who was claiming there had been sexual abuse and harassment, and he had a restraining order against him. So again, his lawyers were saying that his nephew is a troubled individual, and these are false allegations. They said, and the accuser confirmed he was satisfied with legal representation in the matter. The request came from the accuser asking to dismiss the case. This was never anything more than a troubled individual making false allegations with absolutely nothing to substantiate them. We were glad that our client saw justice done and can now move forward with his life and career. Now, I was very happy to hear that Ricky Martin won this case.
Right.
Because if he didn't win, that would mean that he was having an incestuous relationship with his 21-year-old nephew, and that's disgusting.
Right.
And horrible, etc., etc., etc. However, and I don't know if this is just me being a cynic or something, I just feel like as much as I'm glad that he won, I'm like, well, did he really win?
Or did
is
he
this
just have
money?
all the money in the world?
Like, is it
to
just
buy
money?
the best lawyers, to figure out the best defense.
And to pay off his nephew to be like, all right, shut up about this. Because it's just like...
Well, he won a case. Like, I feel like you don't, like, you...
But if they're saying...
You settle... And then you don't go to trial. It seems like they went to a trial,
but
and then they
his nephew
won.
was what said that he wanted to dismiss the charges. So that could, to me, mean he was like, "Let me give you."
Dropped. The charges weren't dismissed.
No, like, but I mean, like, if his nephew is saying, "I want to withdraw these charges,"
then that would mean that the charges were dropped.
But that's what they're saying. He said that the request to dismiss the case came from the accuser. So to me, that could be like...
I misunderstood this entirely.
He could have said to his cousin, listen, I'm going to give you...
So he didn't win a case.
$2
the
million.
charges were just dropped.
That's how I feel. And I'm just like, either yes, his nephew could possibly have some mental health issues that he was going through that said, let me cause this false allegation. Because that could happen.
Yes.
But I still have a big question mark whether or not is this justice or is it money?
I think well, you know,
because we will never know.
Well, okay, so time out. If this was a settlement, that would have to be like, you know, done through the court and mentioned and everything like that.
But he wouldn't, if he really paid his cousin off, he wouldn't have to mention that.
Nephew. Was it nephew?
Nephew, sorry, nephew.
Yeah.
If he was like, listen, nephew, I'm going to give you $2 million, we're just not going to talk about it.
Just undercover, just sort of like, hey, look in your bank account.
Because you wouldn't give anybody a settlement unless they're, like, what's his name? Vince McMahon. Those settlements was because he did something and he settled with them. So if I was Ricky Martin, I wouldn't want to give you a settlement. I would want you to drop the case and then me secretly give you the money and be like, I'm going to take care of your whatever, your rent, all that stuff. Send it to my banking account, routing number. I'll take care of you.
I'll cash app it.
Because I don't want, if I read someone gave someone a settlement, I'm going to be like, oh, that person definitely did that thing. They're just paying them off.
Yeah.
So in this case, his cousin dismissing the charges could either mean, like I said, the charges were actually dismissed and were not valid, or there was just money involved that we do not know about, and now his cousin's just going to have his life taken care of.
Well, we can only really go off of the facts that have been given.
We can only, which is what we can. Oh, that's all we have.
Hypothesize and
that's all we have.
You know, so like come up with theories all we want. All we have though is the facts that have been provided.
And the information that has been given to us is that Ricky Martin, the case was dismissed by his cousin or his nephew. And there has been allegedly no gross incest, which honestly to me is preferable.
But listen. Even if, how do I say this? Let me articulate this correctly. I feel like enough damage has already been done. Because you've already floated out the idea. It's like Inception. Like, you know, like when you like put an idea in somebody's head and make it seem like they had the idea. Like now you floated out the idea that maybe Ricky Martin does incest.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. And
whether he does it or not, the fact that it's a question, the fact that it's like, Does he do incest?
Honestly, when I
Is
first
incest the thing that he does?
when I first
Because no normal person, I think of like any random person who's a celebrity. Like I fucking Tom Hanks. Like at no point do I ever think of Tom Hanks and the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, he does incest. No, it's fucking Forrest Gump in that boring ass movie. Like, and it is boring. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like hot take, Forrest Gump. It's a long ass boring fucking movie. Ooh, I met the president again. Hooray! You did a bunch of good stuff. You also got AIDS at the end. Anyhow,
he did
that's
not get AIDS at the end.
Him and his son has AIDS. Anyhow, and if you don't believe that, then you're not watching the same movie that I'm watching. Jenny did not love that motherfucker. Fucked him out of pity. She hit rock bottom. Fucked him. Had a kid with him. And then died and left the kid with him. You know, like I have Apple stock. Like he just white fucking privilege. Just I ran. Like just get out of here. Like I came up with a shirt. Like okay. Time out. Forrest Gump. It can't just be that like this white dude somehow was like a part of all of this American history, you know? I can't fuck with that movie anymore. Yes, I know he was, you know, neurodivergent.
Yes.
I know that, and I know that he had, you know, like fucking like scaffolding on his legs. I know.
Scaffolding?
I know that he like at his leg, and then Jenny was like, "Run, Forrest," and then it fell off and everything like that. Like it. He had like
braces. He had braces.
Okay,
on his
yes,
legs.
and he had a hard life. But then at a certain point, his hard life was only like 15 minutes of the fucking 2.5 hour movie. The rest of his life was like, I'm at the president again. Like, and Bubba, like, I'm going to open up Bubba Gump Shrimp. Like, you know, like, and Bubba died, and he fucked off, and he's like, yep, you know, I met a black man, and I'm gonna go fish for some shrimp out of his memory with Lieutenant Dan. Like, and he has Apple stock at one point. And he ping ponged, like he's a ping pong player. Like, so at no point, there's no point he spoke at like the Million Man March or some bullshit like that. Like
yeah, he did.
He did all of this shit. He was a remarkable man, right? And he was down to earth and everything like that. And it's just like, it's the story of white mediocrity. I can't endorse it anymore. Like, I will never watch Forrest Gump ever again.
It is white mediocrity. It is. And
there's overcoming what life gave you, and then there's just...
He inspired Elvis with his braces on his legs.
He fucking made the happy face sign because he...
wiped his face with mud.
Oh, he came up with the phrase life is shit or whatever it was called. Like
life is a box of chocolates.
No, not life is a box of chocolates. Like when he was running and he ran into some shit. Like, that's just
shit
life.
happens.
Shit happens. There we go. Yeah. And he was like, it happens. And like, oh, shit happens? Like, yeah, I guess that guy made a lot of money off of me. Oh, shut up, fucking Forrest. We need a black Forrest Gump where it's just
that
like...
That would be great.
Just like he... Like, apparently he gave... Like, he goes through, like, all the black culture and just, like, enlighten... Like either, like, he helps people and gets money off of it or enlightens people. He gives a Biggie Smalls... Oh, God. He gives Biggie Smalls a piece of candy. Uh-huh. And, he's like, you really like this. It's juicy. That's good.
All right. Okay. That one worked.
Yeah. Meets Tupac. And he's just like, yeah, my girlfriend's here. Like, I traveled all the way from Raleigh to see her. That's California love.
Yes. All right. Moving along.
He's there for Malcolm X's like fucking assassination just for some reason.
Why would he be there?
What do you mean? Why would he be there?
Is he gonna be one of the people holding?
He's the janitor.
He's
the janitor. He's the janitor at the thing, and he's just
thinking paper college,
sweeping along like do do do. And then he looks and is like, oh, you know what the fucked up thing is? Here's the fucked up thing. He sees like somebody's handkerchief like falling out of their pocket, so he goes to like put it back in, and the dude's like, "Get it out of my pocket!" And that's the signal for the other assassins.
Oh my god. You're such a... Your way your mind works. You're a ridiculous human being. But I track with it. And I love it.
That's
I
Black
want
Forrest
some more of it. More of that. Thank you.
And the recurring thing is like I couldn't meet the president again.
All right. Okay, moving on.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so we now have some good news about Monique.
Yes. And with good news comes good tunes.
She said that she's shooting her first Netflix special, and she's going to be working with director Lee Daniels on a Netflix film called The Deliverance. So this is very good. I think that, after she had that lawsuit with Netflix about the discrimination and pay equity, et cetera, I'm glad for her. I'm sure she's going to address the issue she had with D.L. Hughley this last year.
Yes, she probably
She's
will.
going to. And whether or not she makes a real apology or not,
do you think that, like, on a platform like Netflix, do you think that story got wide enough traction that it would
think that it's enough traction for people for her to mention it.
For her to mention it?
Because it's for black people, which is who this
it's
special is going to be geared towards.
It's going to be geared towards.
She's 100% going to mention it. And now she might mention it as been saying, like, I was wrong, I apologize, which she's been trying to say. Or she might be like, whatever, this is my life, let me tell you how I live it. How sometimes her persona is. So, we don't know. But I think that all I can say is I want people like Monique, black women in Hollywood, to not be governed by mistakes they may have made. I want us to be able to give them the fair shake that we give these other people who have done way worse. And not to say that the stuff she's done has not been problematic and bad and obnoxious, because it's like, you know better. But I want her to be able to showcase her talent and actually use her comedy for good. And for us to take it from there and not be so focused on the bullshit she might have been doing throughout the last few years.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I could fuck with that. And as somebody who likes watching stand-up, just keeping fresh, keeping it interesting, seeing what everybody's talking about, the Netflix landscape is littered with stand-ups. So it would be very interesting to see what a Monique stand-up is like. I hope it, based on her fight, I hope it gets the budget that it deserves, because you could tell the difference between like a Netflix stand-up that like it's Netflix like clearly backed and gave them all the money versus like, hey, I did this on my own and I sold it to Netflix. You know what I mean?
It's like the BET Awards versus the MTV Awards or even the Grammys. Like, we look at the way that the budget that the Grammys or the Oscars has compared to the BET Awards. Even if sometimes those films have made so much money, we can see them. And even BET versus MTV Awards, the way the production value, the sound quality, the videos, et cetera, has always been vastly, vastly different.
Okay.
So I hope that she gets all of the best tools and resources, the best hair and makeup, the best wardrobe, whatever the case may be, so she can come out there and showcase her talent and not have, like, mention whatever these little, whatever these issues you're having, because
it's just been so long since I've even seen Monique do stand-up that I don't know what her style is. You know what I mean? So
True, but
I would be interested. I
don't.
My only hope is that you bring it. You really
Yes.
bring it. Like every performance should be done. As
I
if
don't
it's
want
your-
her
it's gonna
husband
be your last.
involved at all.
I don't, because I was just about to say that I do not want to watch that whole thing. It could be the greatest fucking stand-up performance in the world, but if those credits come on and said dedicated to Daddy, I'm going to fucking throw furniture at my TV.
I just because she, like, when you look at her talent before she even got with him and before they got public, and just the way that her career was progressing, he has just stalled her in all of his weird shenanigans, and I don't want to see her having any issues because of him. I want her to just come out, do the best she can do, and be hilarious, as we all know she can be, and then go from there.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so do you want to talk about Kid Cudi at Rolling Loud or Jesus and Mero first?
Both upset me.
Mm-hmm.
Both are very upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do Jesus and Mero second, and let's do Kid Cudi first.
Okay, so Rolling Loud was just recently this
Rolling Loud, not rolling out loud.
Rolling Loud recently happened.
Yeah, smoke weed. You should know.
What is that? Anyway,
Because Rolling Loud is
It was
euphemism for
happening
getting high.
in Miami, and Kid Cudi, who had taken over to headline instead of Kanye West, was performing. So we see this video where a bottle had been thrown on stage, and he says, "Yo, I will walk off the stage if y'all throw one more fucking thing up here. I will leave. I will leave right now. I'm not fucking playing. You will ruin it for everybody. I will fucking leave if I get hit with one more fucking thing. If I see one more fucking thing on this fucking stage." That's what he said.
And then in the video, someone proceeds to launch a Poland Spring bottle at him. It doesn't hit him, but it
No.
launches at him,
And he left.
and he left.
And he did.
This is mad disrespectful.
It is. And you know what? I was happy that Rolling Loud supported him.
So here's the thing.
And they said Rolling Loud is a family. Our fans, the artists, and everyone involved need to look out for each other. Share the love and be respectful to everyone. We love you, Cudi.
Here's the thing. I understand if you paid good money to see one artist and then that artist backs out and then you get a different artist. I understand that. And then maybe you couldn't resell the ticket or whatever like that. I understand that. But like, Kid Cudi is amazing. He is a master of his craft. Mm-hmm. He has an amazing catalog, minus one album, because one of his albums is garbage. It's fine. No, like it's known that one of his albums is fucking trash. But it's okay because his body of work is incredible. Mm-hmm. So him being the sort of substitute for Kanye West, that's a good substitute.
It is.
It is. It's a good replacement. You know? Somebody who... It's not like they said, like, oh, like, Kanye West is not going to be here, so we're going to get the Olsen twins to Diddy up here, or whatever. Like, they got somebody who was comparable to the artist that was being replaced.
Because for them, I mean, even if you don't like his albums, his singles alone are all really good. And for the set he was doing, he could have done all of his like really popular singles, and that would have taken up the whole time. And even if he played like one new song or two new songs that people don't know really yet, it would have still been fun. So these people, like, I saw a picture of the three people that were throwing stuff that they caught.
Apparently, the dude who threw that last bottle has been going on Twitter saying that he was the one who did it and bragging about it.
Well, there were three
Anything to
pictures.
get clout.
It was three pictures. It was this white guy who was bawling his eyes out. This like Latinx person who had like a very interesting hairstyle. Yeah. And then this young black boy that looked like he was like 12. So I don't feel like any of these people were really like they were just being immature because they were actually immature people. But I think that the same artist, anyone who's performing live, whether that's a sport, music, whatever the case may be, we need to respect them. They're coming out there on that stage, doing a performance in front of all these people, and that takes a lot of courage to do that, and you need to respect that, and don't fucking throw things. Because if concerts started doing something where they like put you even farther away or had a net up or something, people would be like, oh, we can't experience it. You won't be able to experience it. I'm not going to go perform in front of you if I'm worried that you're going to be throwing shit at me. Even I saw recently Little Uzi Vert, I think so. Who's the one that had the little diamond put in his head?
That's Lil Uzi Vert.
Okay, Little Uzi Vert and the City Girls were performing at I think it might have been
He's
Glastonbury.
dating JT.
Yes.
He
They were
goes by
performing.
That's his new- that's his phone.
They did
Yeah,
say that.
they.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
They said they were performing. Lil Uzi Vert was performing, and the City Girls were performing at I believe it was Glastonbury, and people were throwing their cell phones up for them to take pictures of it of themselves. I don't know, whatever.
I would take those phones and put them in my pocket and then sell them and then get more money.
Little Uzi Vert chucked it back on the stage. The City Girls were very nice and were taking pictures with them. But it's like, could you imagine you're on stage and a cell phone is being thrown at you? Like, cell phones fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like
The funny thing is, you said that I was gonna throw my cell phone at you real quick.
Thank you.
Just to edify that
No,
it does
please,
hurt.
do not. I'm okay. I've got the...
Well, no, I don't trust that you wouldn't let it fall to the floor and crack. Can I tell you real quick as a side note? Like, it upsets me whenever I see a cell phone with a cracked screen.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a cracked screen in my life.
I have never had a cracked screen in my life.
Hey, high five.
But that's because I invest in both the phone protector,
the phone protector
and the screen protector.
So I don't protect. I don't protect the screen, but I do protect the phone. Like, this is a shock absorbing.
But you do have a good
case. Yes.
Like, to me, I'm like, I want the case and I want the screen protector just
I
in case.
also am not so flippant with my fucking phone that I just drop it sometimes.
Every
you know what I
time
mean?
if I drop my phone, I feel like I'm dropping money.
Yes, that's what it is. Like, at no point am I look. I know that accidents happen. Mm-hmm. I know that sometimes you can't.
And sometimes it slips.
Yeah, but I think that we were a part of the first wave. Mm-hmm. That the first wave of technology when it comes to cell phone. Like, we were around when like the first smartphones were.
Mm-hmm. I had a Dash.
It
was terrible. It was the worst phone in the world.
I had my first smartphone was a PC phone.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and it was actually a hand-me-down from my sister.
Mine was a hand-me-down, too.
Who did not delete.
We can move on from the horrifying, traumatizing images that you might have seen.
Everybody had photos on their phone.
Yes, we did.
And it made me realize never to let anyone hold my phone.
Don't.
You know why? Because whenever I would hold somebody's phone, the first thing I would do is go into their phone.
But I just, okay.
And then be like, oh, okay.
So to just get on track.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Back on track.
Don't throw things on stage. You could throw a rose, a teddy bear, something like that. Like, because that's something that people would expect. Roses, teddy bears.
What are you, at the fucking amphitheater?
People throw those things.
Grease?
I like roses and teddy bears. Yes, nobody needs to be thrown at a phone. That's hard. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, imagine me throwing a book on stage at somebody. That would be fucking ridiculous.
You would totally
I
throw
would
a
not.
book at Daniel Radcliffe.
I wouldn't, because that's going to be a waste of a book.
Go to Equus and be like, sign my Harry Potter.
No, I would not do that because it's a waste of a book.
I want you to gobble my fire.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
Oh, like you wouldn't take his Half-Blood Prince.
I would take his Half-Blood Prince. Fine. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I should have said you would take his Philosopher's Stone.
Yes.
That would make you the Deathly Hollow.
Okay. All right. Oh my God. We are moving on. We have some very sad news.
Oh my God. Why would the sad news be?
This is sad.
Next. Oh, yes. Of course.
I'm
Actually,
sorry to all my Bronx people out there. But Desus and Mero, the comedy duo that we loved,
yes,
has announced they are shutting down. It's over. It's done. It's canceled, blocked, deleted. And everybody was like, what's going on? What happened? And recently...
in honor of I'm playing their song.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
So it came out that apparently Showtime had an issue with Desus and Mero's like longtime manager. They said he was rude, obnoxious, mean, etc., etc., etc. So for this upcoming season, they wanted to like move things around so that he was not involved. Their manager, longtime manager's name was Victor Lopez. Yes. And so apparently Desus agreed that they should take a separation if Victor was being an asshole, and Mero said no, and that he wanted to be loyal to Victor Lopez. Now, I'm very interested in this because I think this is something that happens with men a lot more than it happens with women, because I'm a super loyal person. But if someone who I'm being loyal to is also doing harm,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be loyal to them. But I recognize that sometimes with men, they have like kind of levels of what type of loyalty they can, like how far their loyalty will reach when someone's being problematic.
Yeah.
And so they will be like, oh no, it's fine. We need to I'm gonna stick beside them, even if they're doing things that are objectively terrible.
Right. I have gone on record by saying that if at any point I am canceled, I've told all of my friends to disavow me for their own sake. Like, I don't want to drag nobody else down. Not to say that, like, I do shit that's problematic or anything like that.
You don't.
But, like, it would kill me more than the idea of whatever the problematic thing is. I don't know if that says anything about me, but it would kill me to think that anybody by association of me would be harmed in any way.
But
like I wouldn't want to like my friends and family to have their lives ruined just because of some shit that I did.
But that's because you're a good person.
So I straight up told all of my friends, like, look, man, if something happens, like, y'all are free to cut me off. Y'all are free to be like, I don't know him. Just do like news article. Don't like newspaper news stories. Just don't say that like, oh, he was so nice and quiet or some shit like that, because that's a lie. And
pull Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
I
don't know him. Like, I don't associate with that person. I don't know who Maurice Licorish. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know him. He's 65 years old and still fucking in Baltimore. That's the Maurice that I know. I don't know any other Maurice.
I can't imagine you doing anything actually like crazy problematic, but I would only pretend to not know you.
Oh, don't.
I would only pretend.
Oh.
You would still be invited to like Thanksgiving and stuff.
I'd still be around your family?
Yeah. Oh. Because the thing is, this is the thing. I think when people are problematic, that we need to call them in. And now I'm not talking about child rapists and murderers.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about like pedophiles or anything that harms fucking children.
But it's like sometimes people are assholes. They don't even realize they're being assholes. And I think that you cannot just remove people from society and act like that's like a normal thing. It's not. So I would not, even if I'm like, okay, like we're going to pretend for like, and I mean, y'all are hearing this now. So just know, if I ever go on record saying like, oh, I disavow Maurice Licorish, whatever, I'm lying. because I'm not going to disavow you.
No.
Unless you would have to do something like categorically terrible for me to be like, oh no, I don't know. I would like for me to actually do that.
Okay.
But to the world, to make sure I can like have this. If you do something problematic, so I can have this podcast and just be like, all right, fine. Yeah, I hate him, but go
our separate ways and
no. You'll still like be working on the production part, and I'll just send you the money.
Thanks.
Yeah, why would
Thank you so much for
Why
still
not?
employing me.
Yes. I feel like that works. You'll
Lord
still be
knows.
getting money.
Okay.
You love money. Nom, 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 nom.
I do love money. I do love money. I do.
And then after
I've
a certain
gone on
amount of
record.
time, when you have time has passed, you've apologized,
Yeah.
now people will accept you
pull
again,
Aziz on sorry and
Yeah.
just like come back
and you'll come back.
like very low key. I will
Yes.
like
Little by little.
little by little. Like I will. Okay. This is hot take.
Uh-huh.
I think, as far as canceled people are concerned, Aziz Ansari has been doing it the right way.
Yeah, I think because to me, you know what? It's like when someone does something,
Mm-hmm.
because of the nature of our society,
Right.
I believe there are so many things that even us within our own particular communities don't understand how bad certain things are. Because I could say, as someone who grew up in the 90s and the aughts, the early aughts, that a lot of things about consent were askewed. And I could tell you honestly, my best friend and I, the way we thought about like sexual assault and abuse when it came to girls, when we were in high school, we did not see it in that same way of guys. And I'm content warning, I'm going to say the R word. We had a rape list of guys. And I know, doesn't that, it sound, you're like, what? That sounds crazy, terrible. If a guy were to say the same thing, it would be like, oh, they were like a super creep. Whereas we were just thinking like these were guys that we wanted to have sex with. But we would make the joke that like, oh, we would make the joke about raping them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Whereas like guys would never make that joke. Well, I don't know men, but I feel like because in the sense of things, you are not, as a woman, like, it's always like, oh, men want to have sex all the time. Like, that's just them, right? It wasn't until I got to college when I remember freshman year, I took part, there was something at Drew Hall about consent across the board. And so I participated in a skit where it was these girls who were taking advantage of a guy. And when they were telling us about it, I was like, all of us were laughing. Like, you know, what do you mean taking advantage of a guy? Like, that's not a thing. But it wasn't until someone ever said that to us that I ever thought about it that way. Because, of course, I knew what it was for women to be with men and, like, feel unsafe, etc. But I had never heard of a man feeling unsafe with a woman.
Yeah.
And so, and just knowing how the people around me, both my age and older, talked about consent in heterosexual relationships, things were very gray and weird. So I think that if somebody gets called out for behavior, and this is, of course, not like some sort of chronic, creepy thing, and they take ownership of their behavior and then take whatever steps are necessary to correct that behavior, that's very different than someone like a Harvey Weinstein or a Bill Cosby who can't even admit that something they did caused harm. Because whether or not, like, when I say, so and so was a man of his time, I can understand that there are times in this world where the ideas of consent and like what it meant to be in a romantic or sexual relationship in a heterosexual concept were very skewed and wrong. But the difference is when someone is brought to task about how they were behaving, if they are actually willing to be different versus going on with whatever that status quo was when they were growing up, because they don't want to have to take accountability of their actions. So,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And I just think yes, he took accountability. I think his slow burn approach to, did you see his special?
The one that he did like that small little Brooklyn place? Yeah. I think we watched that together.
Yeah, he did that one, and then he last year did like a shorter one at the Comedy Cellar.
Mm-hmm. And then he was working on that film, but there was some weirdness that happened with what's his name? I forgot. Bill? No, was it Bill? I think it might have been Bill Murray.
It was Bill Murray.
That was sad because that was but either way, he's slow burning it, and honestly, like, I don't think his burn would be as slow if he was a white man. If I could just, like, that's what I've been thinking for quite some time. I've been thinking about how he openly said that I didn't, he apologized for what happened and then began trying to take the steps to, like, learn more or whatever. And it's like kind of he disappeared. But we see people who have done way more, like,
even Louis C.K. had a fucking special.
They just gave him a fucking Grammy or Oscar or whatever.
Not an Oscar, a Grammy.
A Grammy for the best comedic album. And so it's like we see, and it's not even that I think that black or brown or yellow men should not be held accountable, or black or brown yellow people should not be held accountable. But it's just when you notice, like, when we make mistakes, even when they're not as egregious as someone else.
Yeah, he won a Grammy this year.
Yeah.
For his album Sorry.
Yes. What's his name? The episode of John Oliver I was just watching mentioned that.
Oh.
About, like, how, like, something terrible to say because of, like, how terrible his allegations, and not even allegations, the proven facts that happened. But we see that he's getting fucking Grammys and people still wanting to book him for shows. Mm-hmm. But Aziz Ansari, who actually, like, has apologized and tried to make, from at least, and now we're talking about an outsider's view.
Yeah.
Has at least on the outside of what we're seeing, has tried to make amends in the best way possible.
Yeah.
He's not getting that same treatment. We're not seeing him producing or acting or even voice acting.
He has a credit in the Bob's Burger movie with one line, which we watched the movie.
Yeah.
And I swear that's not him.
It sounds a little bit off.
It sounds off, and it doesn't sound like him at all.
So it's
this is coming from someone who just watched all of Bob's Burger series, and he was in all of those early episodes, and then at a certain point, he's just not in them anymore.
I mean, that's just how white supremacy works, though. It doesn't matter if.
But he still gets the credit. He's in the fucking credits of the movie.
I guess maybe that means he'll get some royalties. If he's in the credit, he can get the royalties.
Huh?
You know?
I don't know. Either way,
but
we got far away
from
what we were talking about.
All right, but
Diaz and Mero, Victor.
Yes.
It's tough to see. Like, it's tough to see
a great franchise,
a great friendship,
hilarious, a friendship. You know what? That's the thing. It's the friendship. It's the bond.
Friendship that
it's the connection
bothers
between
me.
These two people who you really could see loved each other.
Yeah.
And because of someone else's bad behavior, it's caused a schism. And I can't say that either one of them is wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like maybe one of them sees the behavior as not too bad, and the other one's like, nah, they're wildin'. Like, we can't just say no big deal. But I think that's why I was asking you about, like, loyalty with men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes there's this, like, oh, we have to be loyal, and it's at a detriment to your well-being.
Well, I think you know me enough to know that I'm loyal to no man. Like, historically speaking, of the people that I talk about in my friends and friend circle, how often do I defend the men?
That's true. That is true. That is true.
In fact, I often say things like fuckboy and trash
Yeah.
and fuck that guy, you know?
Yeah, you do. You do.
But I hate to see it, you know. The brand was strong. It's no longer strong, which just
I
tells
hope they go
me,
to couples counseling.
You know what this tells me? And
What?
you know what? As soon as I saw that, what I thought about,
What?
there's a vacuum for two more friends who do a podcast together to swoop in, become the new brand is strong. Cause isn't the read on hiatus right now?
No. Kid Fury's been having a difficult time. Have you not listened to that last episode?
I did not listen to that last
Okay,
episode.
no. It was, first of all, I was tearing up listening to that because Kid Fury was just talking about his, he was having just hard times mental health wise.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, what I was assuming from what he said, his suicidal ideations.
Mm-hmm.
And how it just was, even though things look like on the outside that they were going really well, that just with everything going on, it's just been really tough for him. So
Yeah.
that can't be used as a...
Fine. I won't use that as a example. What I will say is, as far as the market is concerned, two friends in New York who do a podcast, the throne is there for the taking. Okay?
I don't think there needs to be a throne. Why can't we just all have our piece of the pie?
We can't have all of our piece of the pie. We have no pie night now. There's no pie. We're in my living room where fucking ants and roaches come in every now and then. I live in a basement that, you know, it's close to the fucking trash and it has nothing to do with the cleanliness of my apartment. Sometimes just roaches come in. It has nothing to do with the cleanliness. There is a fucking vacancy available for two entertaining ass black people who are friends in New York speaking truth to fucking power.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I also have a capitalistic blood in my body and love money. I love money. This is a known fact and a known factor. I love these in Maris.
Marrow.
I love Jesus and Marrow. I listened to them for years. They were dope as fuck. They were funny as fuck, and I rooted for them. But they are gone now. The old gods are dead. All right? So all you can do now is step up, fill those fucking shoes.
Uh-huh.
And learn from those mistakes. Yeah.
All right. Well, yes, I agree with you.
Be my Marrow. Be my Marrow.
I will be.
Because I will be Jesus. I will be the one who technically looks a little bit better on the side of history.
Wait.
Because Jesus was the one who was like, nah, like, Victor, you shouldn't be bullying people. And Mara was like, yeah, we should side with Victor because he's our homie.
I don't want to be on on the bad side of history.
I didn't say it was the bad side of history. I just said it was on the different side of history. You don't want to be my Marrow?
I mean, Mary. I thought that Marrow. No. Marrow was the one. I do want to be the Marrow because Marrow was the one.
You're the one who was loyal. You just said you would hang out with me if I was canceled.
Oh.
So you're Marrow. There you go. You're Marrow. And I'm Jesus. It's okay. I'm also Caribbean. He's Jamaican. So, like, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I'm bald. He's bald.
They're both bald.
But one wears more hats than the other.
I will.
One is just, it's all good. You're wearing a yellow shirt.
What? I'll take
I don't know.
take the light skin one because of the yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Speaking of colorism.
Do you want to go with the Keke Palmer?
No, that's for...
That would be a good segue.
Well, no, this is for the Sesame Street.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so, have you seen those videos of the Sesame Street character, Rosita, doing the Heisman on these kids at the Sesame Place park?
Absolutely not. Like, okay. This is a confusing story.
Okay.
I've seen 2 videos.
Okay.
One was this video of some black kids waving to a Sesame Street character. And I guess the Sesame Street character not waving back or not.
Okay, so basically what happened...
I also saw one where, like, a Sesame Street character was, like, kind of aggressively, like
punching their belly into the little girl, yes.
Yes, I saw.
Knocking her down, yes.
Yes, I saw that one.
So, basically, this is what happened.
That's not funny, but...
It's at Sesame Place in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. The video that went viral was these 2 little black girls who are in the crowd as the parade is going by. They're waving, and the character Rosita, like, waves at these other kids and, like, blows kisses and da-da-da. And then when it gets to them, like, gives them, like, a shake where it's like, no. Like, we're getting hugs, and then hugs a little white child next to them. Mm-hmm. So then after that happened, you see there's this flood on social media of times where people were at Sesame Place and the Sesame Street characters were kind of ignoring the black children. And I even saw one where one of the characters, I don't remember which one he was, because it was like one of the newer characters, not the ones we grew up with. But he, like, smacked this black girl in her face. And I was like, what's happening here? Like, and I think that if you're at one of these parks, you're not necessarily thinking of it in that time. You're just like, oh, okay, the people are walking past you and waving, and maybe they can't hug right now, but no big deal. But the way that people started being like, damn, like, I have these videos too, and now it's showing that this is a kind of common thing. And the Sesame Place, both the one here, they have the one in Los Angeles, they've been trying to save face and pull out these different statements. But then, of course, on this side, on the family side, you have the attorneys like Ben Crump, who are trying to, they're like trying, I guess now, see if they're going to sue, and what type. They're talking about the children are having different traumas from being at the place and being ignored, and it's just another example of like how stupid white supremacy is.
Yes, it is.
Because and honestly, I think that if people would think of this as just an economy issue, because if they sue Sesame Place, and Sesame Place now has to pay them however much, even if it's just like a measly $1 million, That's $1 million you could have been doing with something else. But because you are hiring people who you know are consistently being like racist to babies, which is like, it doesn't even make any sense, like a baby. How do you be racist to a child? They're just sitting up there like looking at you all cute and like waving. And it's not, this is not to say that if I saw a child.
I had a dark thought, and
what did you?
No, I had a dark thought. You've seen those commercials for oh shit, what is it called? The mindfulness app.
Yes.
And they often mention that like it's okay to have a dark thought every now and then, just as long as you don't act on it and anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I just had a dark thought of just like, you were like, how could you be racist to a baby? And I thought, well, if you went up to a baby and you just said the worst fucking thing, but in like a cutesy way, so that like they don't register it because it's just like they go off of the frequency of your voice. Because it's just like with like animals, you know, like it's just like not animals, dogs, you know, like it's, you could just be like, I love you, like, and they will be terrified of that. But if you're just like, oh, who's a dumb motherfucker? Like,
they will
then
experience that difference.
They'll still experience that difference. So all I was just, like, this is fucked up. But I thought, like, if you just went up to a baby instead of saying, coochie, 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 coo, you were just like, oh, nigga, 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 nigga. Like, just.
I mean, sometimes you never know. They might be doing that. But either way.
But that is a way that you could be racist to a baby.
These children, people have been sharing these videos far and wide on social media.
Yes.
And I hope that these kids get whatever amount of money they can get to start up whatever college funds or whatever after they turn 18 funds. Because for you to like, as much as it was like, okay, when I first saw one video, I was like, all right, maybe it's just they couldn't see or couldn't, bend down at that moment. But once I started seeing all the rest of the videos, it's like, so you guys are really hiring people who literally are hating on babies, and to think about like a kid, I don't know about you, but when we would go to like the Macy's Day Parade, or like if we went to like Six Flags or whatever, we would go to whatever those different little parades they would have. And when I was a little kid, if one of those little characters, like if I was waving at them and I didn't get a little high five or whatever, it wouldn't have like been the worst thing in the world, but I would have been like a little bit like sad. And knowing that usually they're just walking past you, so usually they'll just wave and whatever. And like also how excited I was when they would see me and like look at me and wave and whatever. Like that was such a like moment. So to think that someone would be doing that, like, would not do that to a kid on purpose, it's just like kind of feels so evil. Like it's just so mean and ornery for no reason to like a baby, It
actually makes the most sense that motherfuckers would dress up in a hot ass costume and be standing on their feet all day, having to act like a fictional character and like being mean or oblivious to black people in this country, because it's America. Like that actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. What I'm saying is that this is the least surprising story I've ever heard.
But you want to know what the thing is that really kind of yanks my chain? Is that Sesame Street was created for black children. What is this? What is this music? What is going on?
It's Earthworm Jim.
No, there's growling right now. Like, what is happening?
It's Earthworm Jim.
Do another.
I'm doing a top 100 songs from the Super Nintendo.
Well, you know what? You need to Nintendo into something that's not growling in my ear.
That was horrible.
I don't care.
You
The
should have
noise
did
is
it
horrible.
did a little bit better.
This
You're
noise
just
is
mad
terrible.
because there's like onomatopoeias on this song.
Shut up.
All right, fine. I'll put something else on.
Thank you very much.
All right, here we go.
But yes, okay, that was terrible. We first of all, little girls, because those little babies' faces. All I know is with my baby, when I take my little babies to freaking wherever Six Flags or whatever the case may be, if one of these damn people didn't look at them right, I feel don't know if I would be able to control myself. Like, I feel like I would feel so hot if I looked at one of my little babies and they were looking sad because this damn character didn't want to just wave. So I hope that those little girls and children who were antagonized by these people get
Agreed.
their just due. Okay, so this is, I don't know, karma-esque. There's this pastor in Brooklyn that allegedly was robbed on live stream during his preaching. Initially, he said he lost $400,000, but it was upgraded to $1 million that was taken from him and his wife. And when you watch the video, he's like, in the middle of the sermon, he's like, all right, and then gets down, and they take their money. He's also offering a $50,000 reward for the people who allegedly did the crime. I want to say that I think this guy is a Joanne the Scammer. Because when I looked up, his church is in Canarsie. And when I looked up the church, the area it's in is not in a very affluent area. So to me, if you are a pastor, and this is not, whatever your religion is, there's no way that you should be standing in front of a congregation of people who are tithing to you and giving offerings to you, who are living basically check to check, when you're walking around with $400,000, $1 million on your partner's body. That doesn't seem to be the message at all of what I remember learning in the Gospels. So I honestly think that he did that for some sort of insurance scam. I do. And then I showed you that video of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
When he was calling people faggots and things.
Yeah. We let Sam on here one time and that word just flows.
Well, you can bleep it out.
Like a river. I won't, though.
He said...
You know I won't. I don't edit this that way. Anyhow, no. So I am inclined to believe you that I think this was some kind of scam. Like, I as we are speaking, I am watching the video of him getting robbed. And first off, any pastor who is over here I hate his glasses. Like, I know I have glasses that are like match my colors of what I'm wearing and everything like that. But like, I refuse to believe that like anybody is actively trying to rob the church at gunpoint.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the thing is...
Like, it's all weirdly, coincidental.
It reminded me of that movie with Ice Cube, and I forgot who he was with, but he was robbing the church. It might have been Anthony Anderson. I don't remember who his co-star was in that movie.
Wait, I know what you're talking about. It's like Good Friday or something like that.
Yes.
Where Cat Williams is
Yes.
is like the Reverend, and Tracy Morgan is in it.
Yes, maybe it was him and First Sunday.
First Sunday, I was close.
And it was.
I said Good Friday.
You did. It was with Ice Cube and Tracy Morgan were robbing the church, and it was very much giving me scams and schemes.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's either he plotted this out with people on the block to say he was going to give them a portion of the insurance money, or the people on the block got tired of him stealing money from their grannies and their mothers and not putting anything back in the community. And they said, you know what, we're going to take the money. Because you're not, what are you doing with it? Like,
Do you need me to play it again?
play it again.
Damn it. See, this is what happens when you don't respond quick enough.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
There we go.
But I feel like it's just like the fact that you would be showing off so much money and affluence in a community that you know has people that are struggling, to me is just so anti what any spiritual practice believes in, regardless if it's Christianity or not. Like, for you to just be leaving the people in your community hanging, and you're walking around with fucking $400,000 million chains and necklaces and things like that. No, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go on record and saying nobody robs a church. Sorry, that's just not something that anybody does. Even if you're the most nihilistic motherfucker in the world, you don't rob a church. So that's why I think this is a scam somehow. Oh, you just so happen to be live fucking tweeting this shit, and all of a sudden, like, somebody comes in and robs you? No, that was a setup of some kind. Because there ain't not a black person in the world who would rob a church. I didn't say there isn't a black person who wouldn't steal from a church. I said there isn't a person who would rob one. Okay? Like gunpoint masks, everything like that. Like, I have definitely looked at the collection plate in my past and wondered, like, what if I just took that 20 that was in there? You know? Like, that's stealing from the church, right? That is stealing.
Yeah.
No one is robbing a church. Churches are not known as like hotbeds for finance, you know what I mean? Or like quick cash. They don't have safes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
The pastor's wearing $400 to $1 million worth of jewelry, then I guess it would be more of a understanding of why you would stick the place up. But I still just think it was a lie. I think he just did it so that he can write it off his insurance. And just moving on from this Creflo Dollar-esque man and another scammer online. Have you heard about this pink sauce that has been
do you know
taking
for a
internet?
fact I haven't heard about this fucking pink sauce? What is this?
So this girl on TikTok, her name is Chef P or Pie. It's like P-I-I.
Is it Peppa?
No, Pie, like Chef Pie. P-I-I. But it's like, that could be Chef P or it could just be Chef Pie. I don't know how she's doing it. But she's selling
Chef Boy
something.
RP?
She's selling something called pink sauce, which it looks like from the videos I've seen, like it looks like a mixture of if you did ranch and probably sriracha together and made like a little creamy crema sauce. She says the ingredients that make it pink are the dragon fruit, and then it has like sunflower oil, vinegar, garlic milk, raw honey, salt, dried chili, citric acid, and lemon juice, right? But people who have been getting it have been talking about how it's not really tasting like what they're saying. She says it is, and some people said it tastes like ranch. And some people were talking about how they were feeling a little sick. And I think I sent you a link that was her responding to critiques about her having consulted with the FDA or her product being FDA approved. So just press play on that.
Approved? What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I never said that. Did I? Approved? What do you mean?
So I just want to let everybody know, the FDA stands for the United States Food and Drug Administration. So if it's something you're selling for people to eat, or if you're selling something as a medicinal purpose, the FDA could possibly ask you for some sort of, certificates or, going under certain scrutiny. That's why you can get like herbs. If you go to like a Botanica and you're buying some sort of teas that are going to help you for a headache or something like that, or menstrual cramps, it's going to say it's not FDA approved. That doesn't mean you might not buy it, but it's still not FDA approved. So it doesn't have to be a pharmaceutical, just so we're all clear on that point. I think that this woman should definitely take some maybe food handling and food, labeling classes that the FDA does provide, because I'm looking at it. They do help you with those things. And so that way you would just be able to know that you're giving your clients the best food possible, because I can't say how she's sending it to people, but if people are complaining about having stomach aches and it tasting sour or off, that could be detrimental to your business.
Right. I don't know what else to say. Like,
maybe don't buy condiments on TikTok.
Don't buy condiments on fucking TikTok. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about sauce. I feel like Allen Iverson when he was like we're talking about practice. Like, we're talking about we're talking about sauce. What are we doing? Pink sauce? It's not. Oh, FDA. This is not a federal. If you don't. Okay. All right. So, listen. I can tell she's very pretty.
Yes.
And she came up with some sort of thing. And then she went on TikTok to try to get traction on that.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then she got criticism. And she did do her research as to what that criticism was. And she tried to be smart, but made it look dumb. I get that. But we're talking about sauce.
Yes.
Like, so a little bit of backstory. When you pitched this in the pre-production meeting, I thought this was like the same as pink slime. Remember, like a few back in college,
Yeah.
when pink slime came out, it was like, oh, like the fucking McDonald's burgers are made out of pink slime. And
Yeah.
it didn't stop anybody from going to any fast food restaurant ever. Like when everyone turned out that the meat was just this pink bullshit that wasn't meat at all. It was just congealed nonsense that was just like put through some sort of machine so that it can be frozen for millions of years and then fucking put on a oven like for 5 minutes and then put on a bun and then given to you, and then it turns into a stone. Like it doesn't gain. I have chili in the refrigerator that has mold on it.
Why do you still have it in the fridge?
No fast food meat gains mold because it's made out of pink slime. I thought that that's what we were going to talk about.
No. This was the condiment this woman is selling that people have been now complaining about because they are purchasing it and it has a weird taste or it's a weird consistency and not at all what she is.
Well, you get what you pay for. And when you get
it's from TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. If you get some instructions from TikTok to make a sauce.
No, she's sending them bottles of sauce. It's like the Good Burger sauce, but just not good.
First off, no, it is not like the Good. How dare you? Don't disrespect the Good Burger sauce like that, okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I still, to this day, want some of that Good Burger sauce.
I would smash a burger with Good Burger.
First, I would use it as lube.
All right. Moving on.
And then smash with that sauce. Anyhow, continue.
Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to segue into.
You figure that out while I continue to play. This is the video game episode.
Okay.
It's going to be very misleading as a title.
Speaking of just black women trying to make it out here in this world, Keke Palmer has been trending recently because this Twitter user, Melinda E., said, I'd like someone to do a deep dive on the similarities and differences between Keke Palmer and Zendaya's career. This may be one of the clearest examples of how colorism plays out in Hollywood. They were both child stars, but their mainstream popularity is very different. Keke Palmer responded, not specifically to them, but she just tweeted out, a great example of colorism is to believe I can be compared to anyone. I'm the youngest talk show host ever, the first black woman to star in her own show on Nickelodeon, and the youngest and first black Cinderella on Broadway. I'm an incomparable talent. Baby, this is Keke Palmer. And I feel like I'm of two minds. One, Keke Palmer is amazing. She's 100% a big star.
Yeah,
like she's
Victoria
an A-lister.
Jackson.
Exactly. She has done amazing things in her career. We love her.
Wait, is she Victoria Jackson?
No, I can't.
Who am I thinking of?
You're almost right, but I can't remember the name of the show.
It was called Veep. It was like
Veep.
VP.
It was VP.
It wasn't Veep. It was Veep.
No,
is a whole different
It was
thing.
VP, like, but
Victoria Peterson or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, but I think that I understand when people might say, why doesn't she and Zendaya do not get this? It looks like they're not getting the same kind of roles, because Keke Palmer and Zendaya, to me, are both great actresses. I love watching them shine. I love seeing them on red carpets, but I see Zendaya on a lot more red carpets that I think that Keke Palmer should also be on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I don't know if it's the designers not giving Keke the certain outfits, but sometimes it seems like she's not being given the same resources as Zendaya. So I can understand why people would say, I think that she has more like black famous and mainstream famous to a certain point, but Zendaya has a different type of mainstream famous. Even though we know that Keke Palmer is an amazing actress, singer, dancer, all these things, everybody doesn't seem to know her in the way that they should know her, the same way that they know Zendaya. So I think it's a mixture of Keke Palmer's correct.
True Jackson VP.
True Jackson VP, yes. Okay, thank you very much. She's done so many things.
She's black famous.
She's black famous, but I also think she is.
She's Aquila and the Bee.
Like, to me, I think about that, but I feel like also how many white people were actually going to see that movie. Whereas, like, a lot of black people went to see that movie. She's black famous to us, but when it's like is she getting the same household recognition?
No, she's not.
That she should be getting. And
No,
I
she's
want to
not.
say I don't think she is.
All right. A comparable thing, a comparable example. We saw It Takes Two in theaters, and we know Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen,
Yes.
right? We saw Akilah and the Bee, and we know Keke Palmer,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. My point is that one of those two things was like, I think I forgot my point.
Was it that everyone went to go see It Takes Two versus only black
No,
people
everybody
see
went to
Akilah
go.
and the Bee?
No. I think that everybody went to go see Akilah and the Bee, but I think that like it didn't become like a child. That both of them are like more than 10 years removed from where we are now.
Yeah.
But like only one of them is like fondly looked at, and the other one is like how like I don't even see Akilah and the Bee like just on like I've seen Matilda so many times just on reruns and shit like that. I don't even remember Akilah and the Bee.
We could do an Akilah and the Bee Broadway show the way Matilda has one.
Akilah and the Bee.
They could do one, but no, I think that just the things that are ours
Mm-hmm.
don't always, and the people don't always get the recognition that they should get.
No, I agree with you in that regard.
But I think that Keke Palmer, that no one can forget that she is like a phenomenal actress and deserves her flowers. I mean, she just did a photo shoot for British Vogue. She's in Nope, which has been like everyone's been going crazy about this movie and how good it is. So it's like nobody can say she doesn't have a career. Like if you're saying who's Keke Palmer at this point, I feel like that's you're not staying current on what's happening in Hollywood. But I do want her to get the same experiences and roles than Zendaya gets that are like big budget, huge films, because they both of them deserve it. They're both amazing. Because one of them, like Keke Palmer was a Nick kid and Zendaya was a Disney kid, and I don't know if that changes the trajectory, because when you're in Disney, like the possibility that you're gonna be seen by these bigger.
Well, Ariana Grande was a Nick kid.
Yeah, that's true.
Nick Cannon and Kenan Thompson were Nick kids.
Well, but Keenan's lucked out to get on SNL. Nick Cannon looked out to be able to do certain movies and then doing the talk shows. But I think that overall Disney kids make it big more than Nickelodeon kids. You don't think so? Or have access to bigger proproperties? Because if you're a Disney kid, you can have access to Marvel.
I guess that's true, because like Disney has like a whole like enterprise behind them, whereas Nickelodeon is just like, I see your point.
See that? So it's like I think that could also play a part of it. Like, but either way,
what's Lori Beth Dinsburg doing?
She should be doing so many more things.
What's Cal Mitchell doing?
He should be doing so many more things.
He was the voice. He was the voice of not Clifford, but he was on the show Clifford.
Yes,
he was the voice of that other dog.
But I want to see more of them in roles. Like even if they weren't doing like they could. So many of these Nick stars could be doing voiceover work and just like still having a career outside of their childhood.
Ooh, I was gonna give an example, but then I realized he's problematic. I was gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, what about Drake Bell? But no.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even God, it's so sad. But you know what? This kind of ties into the Ricky Martin story. I think that it's unfortunate that so many. The reason why it was so easy for me to believe that Ricky Martin could have possibly been doing something gross and weird with his nephew is that we know how troubled majority of these child actors' lives are and the amount of abuse they go through, even if it never really actually comes out. And so it's like abused people also sometimes end up abusing people. So hearing that, it's like, okay. And then it starts to get me thinking, with these other stars, what were they unfortunately going through that could have caused them to now be or even if it wasn't happening to them directly, but them seeing what's going on and that like secondhand trauma, how that's impacted them and made them into these kind of heartless monsters. It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, Hollywood's no good when it comes to kids.
I think that it's like, as much as like as a little kid, I wanted to be.
I mean, we just got finished watching the Nathan Fielder show, The Rehearsal, where like he's swapping out babies every 4 hours, and I'm just thinking, like, I think it's hilarious, and I love the show, but I'm also thinking, like, what is that family dynamic structure about where they're willing to, like, have their baby, their newborn baby, anybody, not just the Nathan Fielder show. Any human being who is being like, I want my child to be a star, and they are a newborn baby, I want to sign them up to do 4 hours on a shoot. You know what I mean? Like, anytime I see a baby on TV, I'm like, that's a bad parent. That's a bad parent.
You're paying for what the babies are expensive.
Babies are expensive. Like, that's the excuse. Babies are expensive. So it's just like, yeah, put them in a Gerber commercial. Like,
I mean, it's just like, but you have to think about those things that they have to go through. But hopefully, maybe those people are thinking, like, if they secure a really good gig as like a newborn, they won't have to do it at all.
But like, even like it, that's the problem with baby actors. Babies grow up.
Yeah.
There's like, even if it's television, like, if it's a commercial, that's one thing. And you use that one commercial that you recorded with that one baby over and over and over again, that's one thing. Television, babies are swapped out left and right.
Like This Is Us.
And how many times did we see little baby Randall swapped out?
And you want to know why it pissed me off? Because you keep going to you're not giving us new scenes. You're giving us scenes we've already seen.
Child Randall and teenage Randall and college Randall and adult Randall were all different. And then at one point, I feel like they got a different baby for child Randall.
Yeah, they did. And it was too much.
There wasn't the same consistency
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
It just was. It was all over the place.
They, like you said, they grow up fast, so it's harder. Like, you have to like really make a concerted effort to try to get whatever those scenes and things you need with those kids at that time.
I don't think I'm going to be going back and watching This Is Us.
I might in a few years.
I don't think so.
That first season or two was such an emotionally charged.
No, I think Kate has ruined it for me.
Ugh, Kate. Fuck you, Kate. You know who I hate? Like
ass.
Kate, like the sister in Parenthood. Oh, what was her name? Did you ever watch the show Parenthood?
No, I never watched Parenthood.
It was good.
No, I'm not saying it was.
The siblings. I'm gonna tell you, one of the siblings pissed me off so freaking much that if I could think of someone who would make it difficult for me to watch it, it would be her. And her name is it's Erica Christensen's character. Her name is Julia, and she's such a fucking annoying, privileged bitch. And I really was pissed off every single time I had to watch her on. She's made the worst decisions. But she was like my Kate. And so that would be the only reason that would keep me from watching Parenthood again because it's a good show. So is This Is Us. Loving, you're going into all these deep feelings, vulnerability, da da da.
Yeah. So, no, This Is Us. It was fine. I'm not going back. Oh, this is too loud. I'm not going back to it ever again. So,
well, I could say that's the type of show in 10 years I can rewatch it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so something that I think we're going to be watching several times is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's coming out on November 11th, so 11/11, which is a great angel number.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming out then, and the trailer alone, I mean, we've watched it several times at this point. And it has a beautiful, like, funeral ceremony scene that we know we're going to get. We get to see the character you were really excited about, Namor.
Namor the Submariner!
And I was actually seeing some responses of people who were Latinx who were just like, thank you for including this part into our, like, creating this part of our culture into the Black Panther universe. And even during Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con, the actor who's playing Namor was like, without inclusion, this wouldn't be possible. And it was just like a very emotional, like, moment of like, you know, this is what solidarity looks like. This is what cross-cultural love looks like. And we, like, when one of us wins, we all can win.
So, I am torn on this.
Why?
I'm excited for the movie. I almost felt like there shouldn't be another Black Panther movie.
Because Chadwick's gone?
Yes. He did such a great job that, one, I wouldn't want him to be cast.
You know, I think I've been seeing...
Like, we recast Terrence Howard for Don Cheadle. All right?
I saw...
We recast Edward Norton for...
what's his name? Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
I saw a lot of conversation about being recast.
I don't want him to be recast, but I don't necessarily want to see another Black Panther without him. You know what I mean?
Well, I think someone made a point that I thought was very, like, spot on. When you talk about recasting, you're not talking about something that's just like a simple fix. This was a very close-knit cast. So, like, they themselves have to be able to grieve and be able to even write a story and create a story without someone that was so integral to their life. Because if you think about it, like, I don't know if you've ever had anybody in your workspace pass away. But even in, like, a normal, like, regular day-to-day job, that's something that's, like, difficult to move on from. Even if the person didn't die, they just, like, retired or left or whatever. It's like, wow, this person's missing, and it's really difficult. I can only imagine what it feels like for this, like, super close-knit cast to lose someone in a way that was so unexpected to them. And I would not imagine that they would be able to just be like, yeah, let me just, like, create this whole new series with a new person. Because that's just, it's like, this is now a grief and trauma that they have to get through. And why can't Black Panther just be Shuri, who it happens to be?
I'm not saying that it can't be Shuri. Yes, it's in the fucking comics. I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a woman can't.
I'm just saying
play...
in general from what I've just seen. Like, why the way that so many people have been so... Like, I understand it not wanting to be... I understand what you're saying about you don't want to see the movie without Chadwick because he was just the cornerstone of these movies.
His portrayal was so good.
Yeah. And it's like you don't seeing it without him feels like,
you know what it's like? It's like Aladdin, and it's like Genie. And to this day, I will not watch the live action Aladdin movie.
But I think that
because he's so quintessential to the role. You know what I mean?
That's why for this Black Panther movie, we know that they're gonna have that like funeral portion, and I think that from what, even without seeing it, I feel like that part is supposed to give us all a moment to like grieve the loss of the Black Panther who we knew and loved, and Chadwick Boseman as the character and the person that we knew and loved, and hopefully be able to then like see a future for the Black Panther franchise moving forward.
Sure.
But I still understand why it's such a difficult thing to conceptualize, because it felt like Black Panther was so like who else could be him?
Yes. At this point, I would rather have a Blade movie.
Well, we are getting Mahershala Ali.
Yes.
We are getting him.
Yes.
And they previewed stuff at San Diego Comic-Con with like the posters and stuff like that. So, I mean, we have a lot to look forward to.
Yes.
And who knows? Maybe we'll get a Mahershala Ali in like a Black Panther movie down the line.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because if he's in the Marvel universe,
then have him as Blade in Black Panther?
Yeah.
Well, there aren't vampires in Wakanda.
But who knows how whatever.
There's only vampires in New York, apparently.
Well, if they start to make it
in the Marvel universe, apparently, because everybody like fucking all right, we're 2 hours into this, so I won't take up too much more time. But I will say the one thing I love about Marvel is that it's all in New York. I love it. I love that Marvel was like, we're going to make these, because DC is like Metropolis in Gotham City. No, they're like fucking Captain America and Iron Man. Like, Iron Man is in the fucking Iron Flats district, and Spider-Man is in Queens, and Captain America's from Brooklyn, and Doctor Strange is in Lower East Side. Like, I love
like Upper East Side because he's super wealthy.
Yes. That's what I was about to say when I started the sentence with shh, and then I said yes. Everybody in the Marvel universe is in New York, where it's all happening, except for Miss Marvel, who's in Jersey. But even still, everything is in New York. Everything is in New York. And I could walk by certain places and be like, Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? Turn over, just like, that's fucking Big Xavier Institute. You know what I mean? Like, just New York. Gotta love it.
Uh-huh.
Marvel Universe. All right. But fine. I will go see the Black Panther movie.
Duh. What do you mean? Oh,
I'm glad it's gonna be coming out in November. Is it coming
November
out November
11th?
Yes, it's coming out in November.
We gotta get our outfits ready.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna wear all black like I did for the first Black Panther
we gotta
movie.
wear all white because it's a funeral or some like.
Well, it's a funeral, so you wear all black.
No, because we are.
Sorry, you're Nigerian. My bad.
It has nothing to do with Nigerians.
Y'all
People in New Orleans wear white as well. White
different.
signifying life. There's so many things. Okay, white, or just we can get some Ankara outfits.
No, I won't. Odie, I have said this, not on this podcast, but in life, I have said I'm only ever going to get an Ankara outfit is if I wanted to fuck while being a hotep, you know?
You could cosplay as one for the
No,
for the
I
evening.
can't accurately do it. One, I'm bi, so it just wouldn't read
You could
well.
be on the
I
DL.
don't like being pies.
So many of them are like that.
No, I know they're down low.
Exactly.
I'm
You just be cosplaying as down low.
like, then I'd have to act uber aggressive and be in denial and throat fuck motherfuckers. Like, I'm not doing that. You know, like aggressively, like, gotta fucking fuck the straightness into me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they do. That's what they do. They have gay sex, and then they act uber aggressive to be like, this is not gay sex. It feels good. You know, like, that's all it is. That's their psychopathy, or they're going the other way, just like, you know what? Like, I'm not doing that.
Okay. All right. Fine.
I can't cosplay that.
All right. Well, are we gonna take a break before we jump into the?
Absolutely, we're gonna take a break.
Next
So
two
we will be
sections.
right back with more of the Black and Snerdy podcast.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
Now return to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside, we both know what's been going on. We know the game, and we're gonna play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. I am going to say this now to a specific friend of mine who I speak with once every 2 weeks. Gladys, you've been saying for the last year now that you're going to listen to this fucking podcast. And you haven't. So how about this? How about when you actually listen and get to this part, send me a direct text to say I heard the fucking podcast. Because otherwise, this will just mean that I just talk some shit and you never fucking heard it. I know you're fucking busy. We're all fucking busy. But podcasts are a very passive fucking activity, okay? There's no way that you can't just put this bullshit on in the background and listen to it half-heartedly while you're washing the goddamn dishes, while you're ironing your clothes, or whatever the fuck you do, okay? So, this is my direct challenge to you, okay? The gauntlet has been laid. So anytime after this you say, oh, I gotta listen to your podcast, like, I'm gonna know you haven't listened to shit. Okay? This is a trap. All right? Odie, do your family and friends listen to this podcast?
I mean, they say that
No,
they do, but
they don't.
I don't believe them.
Exactly.
Bears are support people. You know when they
we're
say...
about to turn this shit into some spicy ass nonsense. Maybe then y'all will listen.
I like spicy ass nonsense.
Yeah, but be too inside baseball. If I just start being like, oh, my podcast is gonna be me dishing about my family and their secrets, it's gonna be like, oh well, my family will know.
But nobody else will.
And or it will just be the continuation of my family not listening to my fucking podcast. So it will still be out in the ether. Fuck off.
Well, please, all of our loved ones, listen to this podcast more, subscribe. And if you are not a loved one, please comment, share, like, subscribe, and tell us what you think.
Just comment. Just send a comment. Send a fucking Facebook, not Facebook. Send a tweet that said like, "Hey, I listened to it. It was funny."
Yes, all those things. Please.
Or I listened to it and I had a very big issue about that one part where you had a problematic segment.
Yes.
We want engagement.
Tell us what you love, what you don't like. We can handle it, and that's how you grow and change and evolve.
That's the only way I'm gonna stop yelling.
He's never going to stop yelling.
But it might happen. You don't know. I'm yelling because I don't get engagement. So imagine what will happen when I do get engagement.
Well, engage with me for a moment and tell me how your mental health has been this last week.
Okay. I will engage you with my mental health because this is the mental health section of our podcast. Section where we as advocates, not experts, check in with each other about our mental health journeys. And I'm about 2 sessions away from quitting my therapist.
Is this because you think that, is this because they said you don't need to go anymore, or because you don't feel like they're pushing you to new levels?
No, it's both. Like, it's both. Like, there's not much to talk about, and...
Do you think you need to find a new therapist?
No.
You think you just need to, like, just go on your own for a bit?
I think I just need to do my own thing for a while. Because, like... And you... Like, I feel like that one Kanye West song, and you can't tell me nothing, right? I have all the tools.
Well,
I have all the medication.
I think people could still tell you something. I just think that the person would need to be at your
I don't think
level.
Get
on your level. You're going to do that?
I was going to do that, but
I think that's
I was going to do
accurate.
the uncensored version, and I'm like,
I think
she's
that-
not a hoe.
I think that you have to have therapists that match the level where you are. And I think that, and not to say that you don't deserve or you can't handle a break between this therapist and maybe if you want to get another one later on. I just think that you need a therapist that is good for your current lifestyle and who you are, and not the old you that has grown so much since you've started.
Well, I just don't know. And I just, whatever the level that I am on right now, it's not really helping me. And now I feel like I'm wasting money and wasting time.
Yeah.
I'm getting up early on a Saturday or a Sunday
Yeah.
to look into my camera on my laptop and just be like, what the fuck am I doing? You know?
And I think that
And I would rather just cut ties.
when you get to that point in therapy, I think that it means you need to find a different therapist because that therapist is no longer meeting your needs. But also, I still want you to tell me how the rest of your mental health and all that has been going.
Well, I have some anxieties. It's one of my best friend's weddings coming up. And I'm not ready.
What do you mean you're not ready? Because your vows?
Well, what?
Or not vows.
Not
Sorry, your
vows.
best man speech.
1, have not done anything with that best man speech.
Okay.
2, I have not checked under my bed to see if I had dress shoes.
But you do have dress shoes. I know you do. I've seen them. You've worn them.
I don't know if they go with
The
my
suit.
outfit.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to do that tonight before I go to sleep.
Yes.
Because otherwise I'm going to have to hit up H&M real quick to get some more shoes. I'm anxious. I'm going to be surrounded by whites. I'm going to be in Summit, New York.
Yes.
Far away from any person of color, any bodegas, any vapes. I'm going to bring two. It's going to be an open bar, so there'll be a lot of alcohol, and I'm going to drink all of it.
Okay.
Last time I was in upstate New York for a wedding, I felt like it was a get out situation. I felt like I was going to be sacrificed because I was the only black person at
Well, you're not going to be the only POC.
Wedding.
There's going to be a lot of your friends.
Am I going to be? No,
Your
I know there's going to be a
friends-
lot of my friends. I think I might be the only POC.
No, because your friend's partner is a POC, and their family's also going to be there.
Yes, they will.
So I think there's going to be more than
Sure.
you expected.
Fine. Yes, you're absolutely right. Half of the wedding is going to be people of color.
Yes. That doesn't account for
Not
anti-blackness.
gonna. Yeah, as far as blackness is concerned,
That's a different thing.
that's a different thing.
But we at least know that you're going to have some sort of flavor in the vicinity.
Yes, there. Yes, yes, there will be. There will be.
And I think that can give you a little bit more.
I really do think I'm just gonna wing. Well, one, I think I'm just gonna wing the best man speech. Just
Yeah,
be
but
like,
don't get too drunk before you do the best man speech. Don't look at me like that.
But why?
Because the thing is, you want it to be lovely, clear, succinct.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to say anything that you're going to look back on that and be like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Or you can be funny in your normal sober state. You could also be funny in your normal, like, I've had a few drinks state. But you don't want to get to your, like, super drunk state when saying things, because you never want to be that. Remember when we were watching that show or that movie and they were doing the speeches for the wedding and it was super cringeworthy? You just never want to get.
Oh, it's cool.
I think it might have been. Yes, that was the last thing we watched. You never want to be that person.
I'm not gonna be that person. I'm already gonna be the only black person there. So
think you
like,
just
I
do
don't
your
want to be the
regular
only black
fun
person and be embarrassing. I'm just gonna get up there, just be like, hey everyone. So, real talk. This guy right here, met him a decade ago. Almost a decade ago. I remember that we were at Branded Saloon. 2 comedians starting out in comedy. Didn't know each other. He went up before me. He made a joke about Coolio having a cookbook. Could I tell you and recite the joke verbatim? Absolutely not. But it resonated enough with me to want to punch up that bit. And that bit that I went up to him and told him, I was like, hey, I love your Coolio bit. You should say that Coolio's book should be called Living in the Gangsta's Cajun Spice. And from there, I have helped you move. You have helped me move. And you have helped me move. And you have helped me move. You've clearly helped me move more times than I have helped you move. Way more times. As a matter of fact, neither of us, the last 2 years when we moved to Flatbush, asked each other to help each other move because we realized we're not going to do that bullshit. We're not going to feed each other beer and pizza in exchange for helping lift up a couch. And that's why I respect you. And that's why I love you. That's just a taste of my fucking best man speech.
And I think that you did a really great job.
That's just that's only half.
Yes.
The other half is gonna be you got a friend in me.
All right.
Let's continue. No, what are we checking in with you?
Yes. Oh, we are. But we did forget to do something. I'm gonna check with me real quick. Okay, great. So right this week, I will say that I am having lots of mixed feelings. I'm feeling curious and excited about starting my new job. Which I'm excited about, but also just like, I'm apprehensive. And just also thinking about being like a more open and vulnerable person, which is difficult for me sometimes. And thinking of what things I'm going to bring to my therapist to work on when I start working with them again this next month, since I've had to take a little bit of a hiatus due to lack of funds. But I think I want to work on how to be the best me in relationships with other people and in relationship to myself this next 33rd year.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like I've been doing that. Like I've been working on that because I've been working on myself, these past few years. But I think that I want to take special interest in that part.
Mm-hmm.
And see where that gets me.
Okay. That's nice.
So that's it. That's my mental health thing. But I didn't ask you the question that we do in the beginning of the mental health part. I know. It's going to be simple. Is the silent treatment a method you use when angry?
It's not. So I don't call it silent treatment. I call it retreatment, where I just retreat into myself and do not talk to anybody or anyone. I do not respond to text messages and phone calls or anything like that. It reminds me, I'll probably call my dad at some point. But yeah, I just the communication breaks down. It stops. Stops being free flowing and starts being occasional. Including text messages. So
You see why I get worried when I send you a text message and you're just like, okay.
no, that's a response.
Because then I'm like, oh, gosh. Is he upset?
It's not a not response. Because there's a difference between a short response and no response.
Okay. All right. Is that your answer?
That is my answer.
Okay, so for me, I would say I do not like to give people the silent treatment because I think that's toxic.
I think you give people the quiet
But
treatment.
I do.
You give people the quiet treatment.
I was going
Which
to
is-
say that I when I am upset about something, I get very quiet.
Get very quiet. You talk under your breath. You speak this way, and you're very deliberate about your word choice, about what it is that you are upset because you've been stewing for hours about the thing that you are upset about. And therefore, when you are ready to present why you are pissed, and it's not quick, it takes time. It could be potentially days, unless somebody confronts you about it. And then when you are confronted, then you really get quiet and you have to get yourself together and just present your case in the most quiet, deliberate, vocal, but somehow stern way possible. And it's learning for everybody involved.
You did hit some nails on the head.
Unless it's a particular topic, in which case you'll be more vocal about it.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will be more vocal in the moment.
Yes. You'll be more vocal. Well, no. I'm referencing something that happened relatively recently, but like, no, it'll be you'll yeah. You choose what the immediacy is.
Well, yes, that's true. Sometimes I could feel very strongly about something in that immediate moment, and I have to say no.
There's a difference between you feeling attacked and you on the defense.
Tell me what the difference is.
One is quieter than the other.
That's not helpful.
No, it is. You feeling attacked versus you on the defense.
So if I'm
one is more proactive than the other.
If I'm feeling attacked, does that mean I'm quiet?
Yes.
If I'm on the defense, I'm
actively
saying
like not but like no, that's not you. Like you're not you're never but like you are louder. You're much louder. You feel more confident to be sullen.
Sullen?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not generally a sullen person.
I know you're not. That's how people know that you're upset. All right.
Okay, so we've answered the question.
Yes, we have.
Neither of us is silent treatment a thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes just retreatment or possibly being a little distant.
Yeah.
In my case, when things happen, because I do agree, I will get distant and into myself when things happen, because I generally, my first feeling is to choose violence, which I know does not make sense always.
In a future podcast, we're going to dissect that.
I like to punch people, but you can't. You can't.
Again, in a future podcast, we will dissect that.
Yeah.
All
right.
There's no time to do that now.
So that was the mental health segment.
Yes.
And now, are we ready to go into our second to last piece of this podcast?
Absolutely.
Bringing it. What? We griping. We're not griping anywhere else. We be griping. This safe space for us to share. We griping. We ain't griping anywhere else. We griping.
So this is the segment where we talk about the things that have pissed us off, made us mad, made us angry, made us upset, bothered us, perturbed us during the week. And I'm going to get mine out of the way because 3 weeks running is about the various bugs that are in my sphere. There is, like I said earlier, doth protest? No. This is just what it is. I know. I live in an area where I live close to the... Look, call a spade. I live close to the garbage.
I mean, everywhere in New York City is close to the
But I live in the basement.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm close to the garbage.
Yeah, you are. Okay.
And because I'm close to the garbage, I'm close to the fucking cockroaches. I have not had any issues with them in my apartment recently. Smaller little roaches here or there, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not plentiful. It's like once a month. They're my period. It's these fucking ants.
Jesus. Okay.
It's these goddamn ants that I hate. But they're not even what I'm complaining about. I'm actually going to complain about myself. Because I am 33 years old and I don't know how to drive. And now I have to take a car ride for 3 hours in a car going one way to Summit, New York.
Uh-huh.
With 2 of my whitest friends. I am glad that it is 2 instead of 1.
Okay. Because you could sleep.
Yes. As soon as I get in that back seat, I am going immediately to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
No. I will spend 20 minutes on the road making anecdotal jokes based on what I see, and then I'm going to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will be asleep for the entirety of the 3-hour trip. Why is anybody getting married in New York, in Summit, New York?
It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful space.
There's nowhere in Brooklyn. Nowhere in
You
Canarsie.
just don't want to have to move from your borough.
There's nowhere near a train. There's no beautiful places near a train.
You could have taken like an Amtrak.
No, I looked. There's no... The Metro North does not go to fucking Summit, New York.
It does not. You'd have to take the Amtrak.
It's not even an Amtrak.
You'd have to. It would be like an outskirt town that you could take like, then an Uber from. It would be like. $50.
But it'd be like $120 Uber. And at that point, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
You're supporting one of your very best friends.
This is not the same as complaining about a wedding. I want to make that clear.
It's just the travel to get to
The
it.
travel is insane. And the only thing that is getting me through this is the fact that there's an open bar. And it just so happens to be the last weekend before I go clean for my clean month in August.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I complaining about? The travel
Yes.
and the bugs.
Yes.
Fuck you, bugs. And boy, oh boy, I hope that the marriage warrants the trip. Let me say that differently. I wish nothing but infinite happiness and a long marriage for a long trip that I am taking.
Better edit out that other piece that you said.
What?
Edit.
Actually, hold on. 3, 2, 39. All right.
Thanks. Yes. Well, I'm also excited for them to have infinite happiness and
I didn't
love.
name anybody. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all the beautiful pictures, since unfortunately it's a small group of people that could be there.
Yeah. And I'm not going to take any pictures.
Of course, you're not. But I know they'll be beautiful there, and the food's going to be delicious, and the wine and the alcohol is going to be flowing, and everyone's just going to have a great time, and it's just going to be something for the memory books. So that's great. All right. Anything else grinding you?
No. Oh, shit. That was my grinding.
Yeah.
No. That was it.
Okay, great. So all of mine are terrible. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And they all have to do with police or the police industrial complex.
The Popos, yes.
So this white Mississippi fire chief, Sam Dobbins, was bragging about shooting this black man over 100 times on his audio, on his, what's it called?
His radio?
No, the body cam. He gleefully said, "I shot that nigger 119 times, okay?" And so that happened. He's been suspended and all that bullshit that they are showing us. It's ridiculous. And then on the another end, there are at least 28 women have filed a lawsuit against a jail in southern Indiana because they are asserting that 2 of the correctional officers were bribed by the men in the other part of the jail, and for $1,000 gave them the key to their section of the jail, and these women were harassed and beaten and sexually assaulted over the course of an evening. And not only were they assaulted, but after it happened, they were penalized by having like the lights turned on them, and they're basically being told like not supported by the corrections facility that they were in. And I just read this story earlier today, and I was just so sick because of how we are seeing that people are being put in jail every day for stupid things. And so many women in jail are being attacked and bothered, and we are just allowing these things to happen because they keep pushing this prison industrial complex. And this is what happens. People who are supposed to be surveying the area and protecting these people who are in custody for whatever they may have done are allowing them to be further victimized. And this is just, on my abolitionist kick, as always. But these were just 2 stories that I thought people needed to be looking at and looking into, and looking to see what stories are happening in your local prisons and jails, and seeing what's happening, because these stories are not silos, and we know that more is happening that we're being privy to. So that is all.
Okay. Damn. That's a rough week.
It's harder and harder to get good stories every day.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, you don't need to get good stories for the fucking gripe section.
Well, that's true.
But let's get some good stories for the things that made us happy.
I'm the baby merchant, tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant
Okay.
All right. So, how about you start this time?
Me? All right. So there's one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super happy to start work next week. Because I feel I'm very excited about this new role. Number 2, I'm happy to do this podcast with you because I always love getting to spend time with you and talk to you about different things that are happening and just connect with you one-on-one. But also this thing that I saw this week that was really cool was a 13-year-old named Alina Annalie Wicker. She's 13 years old and has been accepted into the University of Alabama at Birmingham's Hernsik School of Medicine, making history as the youngest black person in the country to ever be accepted into medical school. When she put it on Instagram, statistics would have said I never would have made it. A little black girl adopted from Fontana, California. I've worked so hard to reach my goals and live my dreams. So I am so excited for her. She wants to pursue a career in engineering with NASA. And I'm just looking forward to having more children like her being able to pursue their dreams, be their best selves. I mean, she has her whole life ahead of her. If she decides she doesn't want to be an engineer at 18 and she wants to become like a painter of like impressionist art, she can still do that. And it's the fact that she has the choices and she has control over the trajectory of her life. And we are super proud of you, Alina, and we are wishing you the best in all your future endeavors.
Absolutely fantastic. Is that everything?
Yes.
As for me, I'm just happy to do this podcast with you. Mm-hmm. And to, despite what I said, I am happy to go to my friend's wedding. I can't wait. You remove the traveling.
Uh-huh.
You remove the fact that I gotta get up mad early, get on a train, to catch another train, catch the Q to the 7, to Forest Hills, to meet my friend who is driving us up there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sharing a trundle bed with another friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever slept in a trundle.
I have slept in a trundle.
You slept in a trundle?
I've slept in a trundle.
Have you been on which part of the trundle? Have
On
you
the
been?
top and the bottom.
Oh, you've done both. You're
Yeah.
You're a well-rounded trundler.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Are you going to be on the top or the bottom of the
Oh,
trundle?
I'm damn sure going to be on the top. Even if he gets there first, I'm still going to be on the top.
You're like, hey, I need to sleep on the top here. We're just going to have to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just gonna
Fight for your right.
like, yeah, just look at him, make eye contact. I don't care if you're divorced. Just, I'm having this.
Uh-huh.
This is what's happening. I need a bed. I need, like, I'm not in a fucking cubby, all right? A pull-out fucking cubby. Fuck that shit.
Well,
But
it'll be
my main point is I'm looking forward to this open bar wedding. I'm looking forward to being in a suit.
Uh-huh.
I'm not dancing. Sorry. What I mean is that I will gauge if I will dance.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to do is dance if I'm going to be the only person with rhythm.
Uh-huh.
That's all. But it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I will put in music requests.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Lil Nas X.
Mm-hmm.
And I will drink all of the stuff.
Yes.
And hopefully it'll be a good time.
It'll be a great time.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be a lot of love.
And then, of course, look forward to doing this podcast with you. I think I said that.
Yeah, but I'm always happy for you to hear you say it again.
Yes. So, with that being said, I think we should go in for the close before we get to 3 hours.
This is not 3 hours.
It's 2:49.
Oh my God. Cut it out. Cut it off.
All right.
We're done.
All right, we're done. Take it easy. Keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's ODTHATSOD.E. On Twitter, THATSOD_. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Are they burnt?
Remember?
Bye.
Boy. No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.